Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 154 of the Dynasty Junkies podcast, a proud member of the Dynasty Addicts podcast network, the DAP network, if you will. And we love the DAP network over here. I am by myself tonight. Rocky had a family issue come up and wasn't able to make it at the last minute, which is fine. I know he's not going to the Expo, but I am, and I'm very excited because we've got the father of the Expo, the creator of the Expo on the line with us tonight. Bob Lung, how are you tonight, Bob?
Doing great, man. Hanging out here at the Doubletree Hotel, downtown Canton. The bar is filled with fantasy folks. Scott Fish, Ryan McDowell, Gamma Martinez, and Mauricio Gutierrez from Mexico.
Yes.
We are jam-packed. We're drinking. We're having a great time, and I'm so thrilled to be a part of your show, brother.
Oh, no, I know when I asked you about this a couple of weeks ago, I was like, hey, it'll be the Thursday before the Expo. Are you good to do this? And you were like, yeah, sure, sign me up. And then as it was getting closer, I'm like, I don't know if this is going to work. Like, I just like Bob was getting pulled in
works fine. It works fine.
So. Well, again, if you're watching live on YouTube, you can see he is at the Doubletree right now at the actual event. Again, preparing for a fun weekend. I know a lot of people are traveling in today. I'm actually leaving tomorrow morning and very excited to meet up. I got the poker tournament at noon. Hopefully.
Oh yeah, you got to get here early, bro.
Yeah, I'm leaving at like 7:30 and driving up from Cincinnati, so I'm pretty excited. But I know the main point that I wanted to get into tonight. I mean, we are a Dynasty podcast. I definitely want to talk a little bit about Dynasty and get into some of that. But the main topic, of course, is the Expo. I know at this point you're either going or you're not. This isn't going to convince people to change their minds, right? Unless they live in Akron
always can.
Or something.
I mean, you never know.
Yeah. I mean, like there might be some people in Cleveland that are on the fence, and you're just like, I don't know. That maybe they're listening tonight.
Hey, Cincinnati is what, 3 hours away, bro? You can be here.
3.5, 4 hours, yeah. And I think the other fun part of this is it's in Ohio. It's at the Hall of Fame. It's one of those things like everybody should check it out at least once. Like go have a fun time. And I think the other benefit in a way of this is it starts technically tonight, right? There's a whole bunch of different people showing up tonight, and the
lot
Expo
of people
itself
here
is until Sunday, so you got a whole weekend of fun.
Right. Yeah. Tonight's kind of the unofficial party. Here's the official, unofficial. We all hang out at the bar, kind of thing. Tomorrow night we kick off the whole weekend with the Friday night party at Centennial Plaza here downtown. Right. We have the drafts all day Saturday. We have the Saturday night party at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. And then, of course, Sunday is at the Expo at the Dome. And I'm telling you, bro, when you get to that Dome, you're going to walk in and go, oh, wow. It is huge.
Yeah.
But really it's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I know the last couple of years I've gone, it's mostly been at the Doubletree where you're at right now.
Right.
And it sounds like the only real event in theory anyway is the karaoke on Sunday night, I think is at the Doubletree. Is that correct?
Well, yes. So, I mean, obviously Centennial Plaza is just 3 blocks up from, the Doubletree. So, that's why a lot of people stay here. But yeah, so, a lot of things now this year are going to be at the Hall of Fame Village. And, so we're really excited about that. They continue to grow. Next year, they're going to have a water park. Maybe they're going to build a hotel there on campus. So as this continues to grow, we'll continue to grow this event. And we're just excited to have so many people in. Biggest names. I mean, Des Bryant is coming to the Expo, folks. He's going to play in the flag football tournament. You imagine we're going to watch Des Bryant in action against like fat people like me. No, I'm just kidding. They're not going to play against him. There's no way I'm guarding him. I'm not even going to try. But just the fact that Des Bryant's going to play flag football in our tournament is so much fun. He's really excited. He's got a new product called High Point that he's going to promote on Sunday at the Expo at noon. If you live anywhere near Canton, Ohio, please come in town, check out the Expo. Even if it's just Sunday, you're really going to have a great time.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I love about this is it becomes this whole weekend. It becomes this whole event, right? I mean, you get the kind of entry parties and things like welcoming in tonight, and then tomorrow with the poker tournament and the welcoming party and all that, and then Saturday a bunch of events like flag football. Like it's becoming a whole thing, and that's what makes it so much fun and so much worthwhile to go, both for content creators and fans alike, right? And there's a lot of people to meet and a lot of people to hang out, but you don't have to create content to go to this thing, which I think
this is we're all fans of each other. I mean, I try to tell people like, oh, this is only content creators. I'm like, no, we're all fans. People buy my consistency guide. If I play in an IDP league or a Dynasty league, I'm going to check out obviously Andrew's stuff. And or whatever site that I need, because all these experts are here to help me. And,
Yes.
I'm there to help them in redrafts and help them with their consistency model. But I'm also here to learn from Dynasty folks like Andrew, IDP folks, prop bets, sports betting, all that great stuff. It's all here. And you're going to meet all of it. In addition to that, you get meet some of the best of the best. I mean, are you kidding me? Britt Flynn is here from Fantasy Alarm. It doesn't get any better than that. Say hi, Britt.
Hello.
Hi, Britt.
See? Britt's here. This is one of the smartest.
She's been on. She knows what's
in
up.
This industry. She knows her stuff.
Stop it, Bob.
She is my favorite by far, always. So definitely come to the Expo. And Women of Fantasy are going to be here. They're going to have the first ever Queens Classic. The 14 of the best female fantasy football experts in the country are going to be drafting live from the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We are so excited for that event. It's so cool. You got to be here. You got to be here.
Well, and so again, with the Expo in mind, I do have a couple of questions. We have some news we want to talk about, and obviously want to get into some consistency. And I don't want to keep you too long. I know you're having a fun time.
No. I'm perfectly fine. All good, man.
I just know that I would want to get going. I want to go drinking with everybody. That's just where I'm excited. And
dude, I have my drink. And we're here.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Well, let's talk about some news real quick. I want to get your news bites on some of this. I mean, Alvin Kamara officially suspended 3 games. Are we worried at all about Alvin Kamara? Like, what are you thinking about that? I mean, obviously running backs tend to, dip off a little bit, but is 3 games that big of a deal to you, Bob?
I don't think it's a big of a deal, but let's be honest. Alvin Kamara wasn't that good last year, and he played in all the games. Last year I remember drafting him in the 2nd round because I didn't think he'd get suspended. He didn't, but he really wasn't the value that we know out of Alvin Kamara. Now they bring in Jamal Williams, who might steal a lot of the goal line carries.
Yeah.
I'm very concerned, and I'll be honest with you, I'm probably not going to draft Alvin Kamara. I'm going to stay pretty far away from that. Now, maybe I'll draft Jamal Williams down the road, especially even a league that, hey, if I can get him, maybe he handles the same touchdown ratios he did with Detroit. That would be fantastic. But yeah, I just don't see it happening. He's getting up in age. He's going to be suspended. It's just not a place where I feel like Alvin Kamara's got the value that I want out of him this year. Now, yeah, you can draft him a little bit later. Maybe if he falls to the 5th or 6th round and he's my RB2 or 3, maybe.
Sure.
But now that he's not suspended for 6 or 8 games like we thought, he's probably going to start being 2nd, 3rd round. I'm not sure he's worth the value.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't know if I want him in a 2nd or 3rd. That feels a little risky to me. I'd much rather, like you said, wait till the 5th or 6th and kind of line up on some other people. It's going to depend on what draft you're into and how risky people want to be, right?
Exactly.
There's somewhere they only look at ADP and he'll fall further. So that's where it's
Yeah.
In a similar page of this, though, with the Saints, they almost signed Kareem Hunt, right? There was some news, I guess, that came out.
I don't know what that was all about. There's no way they were signing him.
Yeah, that was weird, right? And then it's just the fact that they might, or that it was even kind of kicked around, makes me, I think everybody, a little worried about Kendre Miller. Like, obviously, they drafted Kendre, what seems like anyway, to be the complement to Jamal Williams and take over that Kamara role. But if they're going to sign Hunt or even threaten to sign Hunt, are you worried about Kendre Miller, both in redraft and in dynasties?
I mean, again, kind of like Alvin Kamara, I'm not drafting Kendre Miller. I mean, right now, if I'm going to draft anybody from the Saints, I'm definitely in on Chris Olave. I'm definitely going to draft Michael Thomas a little bit later, because I feel like, well, if he can be healthy, and if I'm in a 2-quarterback league or I need a good, solid backup, I'm going to draft Derek Carr. Let's be honest, folks. Last year for the Raiders, he was actually very consistent until they decided just to bail on him. I think he could be very productive and very consistent. Now, he's not going to put up 30-point weeks.
Sure.
But if you want a 20 to 25-point week, I think he could be that guy. And especially in a super flex 2-quarterback kind of league, I think Derek Carr can be very productive. I'm perfectly fine with drafting him in those scenarios. Not as a starter in a 1-quarterback, but as a backup or as a 2-quarterback league, I think I'm very easily persuaded to be able to draft Derek Carr.
100% agree with you. And I think Derek Carr is one of those guys that I've seen a couple of different places where I've been able to get him. And one of them was in Scott Fishbowl. I got him as my QB2.
Right.
And I love that. I think with that scoring and everything in a super flex league, like I love him as a QB2. I actually have him on the Dynasty Junkies 3 team where we have them and our shared team that we all have together. It's a 14-team super flex dynasty kind of thing with all 3 of us have one team. It was chaos for the draft, which was great. But I think I'm with you. I think Derek Carr is going to be amazing this year. I think regardless of Kamara and all that. I mean, you still got Olave. You got Michael Thomas potentially coming back. We don't know what that's going to be.
Right.
But yeah, I think the Saints are going to look very different this year, and there's a very high likelihood that they go marching into the playoffs, right? I mean, let's be honest. Like,
in that division, the division is wide open. I mean, last year, the Buccaneers backed in at 7-9 or something, or 7 or whatever it was. I think the Saints have all the potential in the world to be division winners and make playoffs, even if it's at 7-9 or 8-9 or 9-8. Yeah, they could easily take that division with no Tom Brady in Tampa Bay. That's a weak division for sure.
Yeah. Well, Atlanta might be coming up, and Carolina just got a rookie. Like, there's some question marks on all the other teams.
It's a very exactly.
I love it. Well, and again, the other part of this Hunt news was that he didn't sign with New Orleans and kind of went to Indianapolis, where there's been some hullabaloo about Jonathan Taylor. Do you think Taylor sits out? Do you feel like that's actually going to happen, or is he?
I don't know about that, but I'm very concerned about his situation. Usually what happens with guys who hold out like that, even if they do come back, guess what? They didn't work out all winter all August. Then they come back, and usually what happens? They blow a hamstring or pop this in week 1 or 2, and now they're out half of the year. Again, just like Alvin Kamara, I want nothing to do with Jonathan Taylor at this point. He's off my radar.
No, I'm entirely with you. I think that's where, again, we were talking about Kamara, like where would you draft him? I've seen Kamara going in like that 4th, 5th, 6th range.
Yeah.
Taylor's not. Taylor's going in that 2nd range in almost every draft.
Yeah. Right.
I think he's still got a lot of risk. And I've seen him, and I was actually just in one now. It's a charity league where it's lineup setting and everything. It's not best ball. But he went in I think it was the back end of the 3rd round. Like his ADP, I think, is going to start falling. And at that spot, it's like, oh, wait a minute, hang on, that might be worth it, because if he plays the whole season, that could be a league winner. Right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, if you can get him at that value, now all of a sudden, okay, I'm in, because now I can draft 2 stud wide receivers, and now I get Jonathan Taylor as my first, even if he misses a few games at the beginning. But I'm still a little worried about him not really being ready for the season. So if he goes out there and blows a hammy or tears something right off the bat because he's not training with the team, or maybe just has a piss poor attitude, which can happen too. Then, hey, I don't know if I want to really care for this team because they don't care about me. But these running backs have to realize that, guess what? Nobody cares about running backs. So if you want to even get paid $10 million a year, you still have to perform, because this is what the world is bringing, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, and I think that's where it gets weird too, because he's got obviously a rookie quarterback than Anthony Richardson. Like, you kind of want to get as many reps as you can with him. I mean, even something as simple as a handoff from a rookie, from someone you've never taken a handoff from, as much as Jonathan Taylor is good, you got to get the basic mechanics down. And I just feel weird that he's missing this time to kind of build that rapport with his quarterback. And I'm sure that obviously Anthony Richardson would love that. I'd love to have Jonathan Taylor behind him on this offense. And that's kind of what he was expected to do. So it's going to be interesting. The only other piece that I kind of wanted to bring up, and it's kind of still related into this running back group, is the Dalvin Cook not being signed yet. I mean, does it make sense to you? It kind of does to me, but I want to hear your thoughts. Why is Dalvin still a free agent right now?
I think because Dalvin once paid $12 to $14 million a year. He thinks he's a top running back. Guess what, gang? It's not happening. They're not going to pay you that kind of money. I don't care how good you think you are. That is not the market at this point. And when there's people like Ezekiel Elliott, Leonard Fournette, and those kind of players who aren't even signed for any amount of money, dude, you're not going to get paid. You are not going to get that. You're going to take the $10 million, which is, basically what a franchise tag is, and that's what you're going to get.
Yep.
And you either take it or leave it. If $10 million
for an injury.
Yeah, like if you can't live on $10 million, well, sorry. Go play in Canadian football, right? I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. I mean, I get it. Running backs work hard. But guess what? Right now, that is not what they're paying money to. So you have to decide whether you want to hold out or you want to get paid $8 or $9 million and suck it up and only live in whatever. And that's just what it's coming down to. And yeah, I get it. Maybe you don't think that's fair, but it's like anything. That's what the market is bearing, and you either can play or you cannot play and make nothing. So you have to make that decision, guys. Well, that's the way you look at Dalvin Cook. I mean, I'm not drafting him in anywhere.
Oh,
I
God,
don't
no,
give.
yeah.
I don't care what round he's at. I'm not drafting him because I don't know what's going to happen. I want players that I know are going to play.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, Dalvin and Zeke and Fournette, all of them, even Hunt to an extent, I
Yeah,
think are
right.
really better off waiting for an injury and kind of needing
Yeah.
a team that needs them is willing to
Right.
pay that money.
But
And
even
again,
then, I mean, you're seeing the guys being signed right now. It's it's the Latavius Murrays. It's
right.
those kind of guys. They could pay $2-3 million. They're happy with what their scenario is, and that's
Yep.
the way it's going to be. If you want to take $6 or $8 million, somebody will sign you, but you're not going to get paid $10 to $14 million. It's just not going to happen, and they have to realize that. And I don't care if somebody gets hurt or not. They'll just sign somebody else at that $2, $3, $5 million range,
Yep.
and they'll just put in those players because you know what? They want to play football and they want to make money. $5 million is okay for them.
Yep.
And Kareem Hunt's probably going to be one of those guys that are going to go, I'll take the $5 million
Yeah.
because,
Better than zero. Yeah.
yeah. And if he plays at Indy and Jonathan Taylor doesn't, hey, that's a great value at that point if you can get him.
Heck yeah. And I think too with some of this too with these veterans, like they don't want to be in the preseason. They don't need training camp. Like they don't want to take those reps. So there's no reason for them to sign is really what it comes down to in my book. Like,
exactly.
There's no benefit. They're not getting the money they want and they have to do extra work. Like, no, I'm not going to do more for less. That's not how that works.
Exactly.
So it makes total sense to me. I just keep expecting Dalvin to find a spot, but there aren't that many spots left.
I thought Miami was the place, but again, I don't think Miami wants to hand him $12 million or whatever he thinks he wants. They're going to give him 8 to 10, and he's got to live with it, or he's going to live without it.
Probably going to be without it. But on that note, we did have a question from one of our favorite fans, I guess you would call it, Ridley Truther, recovering Ridley Truther. He wanted to ask a question kind of about some of the running backs we talked about, but he said, do you guys foresee dynasty history repeating itself with the wide receiver running back QB carousel and how their values always change? Or one day will RBs be top dog, the late round QB making a comeback? People realize which wide receiver range really matters. Like he is kind of going all over the place, but it's just basically saying like, do you feel like we're in for a change? Like, is this maybe the calm before the storm, or like, is this sort of an impetus of something about to happen? Running backs we're talking about, but even then, like all the value carousel, the way things are changing all over the place, is a running back going to get a resurgence, do you think, or is this kind of the way it's going to be?
I think this is the way it's going to be. This is the NFL is a passing league. We all know that. We've all seen it. And now those wide receivers are getting paid. For God's sakes, what did Devontae Parker just get paid?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And it's like
$3 million or something, right?
Yeah. And it's like, really? You're going to pay this dude? I mean, and even tight ends. Like Cole Kmet signed a 4-year, like $50 million contract. Like Cole Kmet, really? Cole Kmet's making more than running backs?
Yeah. Devontae Parker had a 2-year, $10 million deal.
Yeah.
Which is just bonkers.
And so, I think it's one of those situations where like, if I had a kid, if I had a child and he wanted to play NFL, like, dude, be a receiver, be a tight end. Don't be a running back, Don't
be a running back.
You're not going to get paid.
Yeah.
Which, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, we were all about it, right? It was all about the running backs. That is gone. This is a passing league. And if you're a wide receiver, you're going to get paid. Or a tight end, you're going to get paid. If you're a running back, no matter how good you are, Saquon Barkley's and, Austin Eckler's and Dalvin Cook's and whoever out there, you're going to make $10 million a year. It might go up a little bit each year. You might go to 11, it might go to 12, but you're not getting paid $16 million like Christian Kirk. It ain't going to happen. Sorry.
And I completely agree with you. I don't think that this is a carousel that's going to change. I think running backs are have been seeing this happen for the last 5 or even 10 years, really, where contracts have just been kind of laughed at. I know when Zeke got that big contract, everybody was like, what are they doing? Like, that just doesn't make sense. And now we're seeing obviously Zeke's not even on the team anymore. The team had to eat a bunch of cap. I just don't think that that's going to happen again. If anything, it's going to get worse. It's going to get, lower and lower, unfortunately. So I kind of,
I don't think it lower, but I think it's going to be below wide receivers.
Oh, for sure. I'm just saying, you're not going to see the big 3 or 4 year deals for running backs anymore.
No. Yeah. Like maybe if you're a stud as a rookie and you're 24,
like a Bijan, right? Like a
Bijan. Yeah. So maybe something like that. And after 2 or 3 years, maybe you get a pretty decent long-term deal. But I still don't think it's going to be that $15, $20 million that these wide receivers are getting by any stretch of the imagination.
Correct. 100% agree. All right. So that's pretty much where I wanted to go in the news, is kind of some of that running back carousel news. And I love really Truther for giving us that question. Because again, I think it's something worth talking about, but for
Sure.
me, it's an easy no. It's not going to change. I don't think, unless something drastic happens with the position or some sort of, CBA comes out where they can bargain to something different. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah.
All right, so we'll get into some of the main topic, but before I get into the Expo, I want to talk about consistency. I know you're big with the consistency guide. I bought that in the past. It's always very helpful to kind of see.
Thank you.
I know Dynasty is something where it's year over year you keep your whole team. It's always nice to know what players are better in a sense and who is more consistent for your lineups. I guess I know I've asked you this before. You've been on the show before, but like, how do you use that consistency model in Dynasty? Do you use a different tweak to it? Do you kind of take a different lens to it, or how do you kind of manipulate that for the Dynasty leagues?
I mean, I'm still looking at the consistency of players, especially young players. Like a Najee Harris, who last year was 73% consistent on a bad foot, a bad offensive line, and a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
He's not that old. So, some people who may have I'm done with him, I don't think he's got that, didn't look at the consistency model to know how really good they were. He was 14th in total points. People are like, all right, he's out of the top 12. And that's what he's going as, like the 14th running back. Guess what? His consistency actually put him in the top 7.
Yeah.
From a running back perspective.
On an iffy team. Yeah.
Yeah. On a team that improved their offensive line greatly in the offseason. They drafted a guy in free agent. Now Kenny Pickett's a year older. You've got a better, you've got Mike Tomlin still as your coach, who's going to definitely be very productive on the run game. So I feel like this is a great time. If hey, you want to make that trade? Go, hey, how about if I trade you this guy for Najee Harris? And somebody's like, yeah, I'm kind of done with him. He's not really there what I need him to be. Those are the kind of people that you want to draft or trade for and help your team from a dynasty perspective, because that consistency model shows you this player can help you on a week-to-week basis. That's what it's out there for. I mean, you and I play in some dynasty leagues together. That's what I'm looking at when I'm looking at trades and certainly, trying to find those kind of guys that I can kind of grab at a bargain that I can give me some good 2 to 3 years. I think the days of, hey, this guy's going to play for 7 years and I'm going to get him now, that's gone. I mean, you especially running backs. You get them for 2 or 3 years, you can be productive, and then dump them before somebody knows that they're kind of falling apart. That's what you want to do in this thing. Wide receivers are a little bit different, quarterbacks are a little bit different, but the consistency model and this consistency guide that you can get on Amazon, type in 2023 consistency guide. This guide can help you in your dynasty league find those players that others don't realize have been consistent. They don't know it. You can grab them at a pretty good value. That's what the guide will help you with in a dynasty league for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's the only other question I guess I had on that kind of page was, in general, would you say there is any position that is more consistent than the others? Right? Like, I know that it's obviously within positions it matters, but is there some value in kind of what we all think, that the receiver position is more consistent than the running back position and so on? Like, do you feel like
you nailed it? Yeah, absolutely. You nailed it. Wide receivers are more consistent. Running backs are probably second. Quarterbacks, believe it or not, are a lot less than they used to be. I mean, if you're in a redraft league versus dynasty, you'll notice that there's a lot of people really focused on the top 4, top 5 guys: Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, those kind of guys. Why? Because they're more consistent than the other players at that position. A lot of people go, oh, well, I can get this guy, that guy. Well, what you don't understand is, like, those players are 50 to 60% consistent. That means half of the games, they're not helping you to be the QB1 you need them to be that week.
Right.
So, and especially if you're in like a super flex or 2 quarterback league in dynasty, all of a sudden you got to find those players that can help you long term, like a Daniel Jones or those kind of players that, believe it or not, like, you were very consistent second half of last year. He's got Brian Dable. These are the kind of guys that will help you. But yeah, wide receivers are first, running backs are second, quarterbacks are third, tight ends. Oh, don't even start.
Well, and Travis that's exactly Kelce, where I wanted to land. Is
Travis
the tight ends
Kelce,
are not consistent. Yeah,
they are not. Travis Kelce, obviously, But you got to find those guys like Dallas Goddard, who is 89% consistent until he got hurt. Tyler Higbee, who in the first 6 games of the year when Matthew Stafford was quarterback, was 5 out of 6 in consistency. Those are the kind of people you need to find at super low values that can help your team in a league that you got to start a tight end, or maybe it's a 2 tight end or a flex or whatever. You got to find those guys that are consistent. Tight ends are horrible for that. There's very few that really will help you on a long-term basis. The guide will help you show those people that you might be able to get at a good value, like Goddard, like Higbee, that can, or people that might have potential, like Irv Smith, that could be consistent this year.
Well, and I think too with consistency, it's always an interesting conversation too, because consistency implies like a floor in a sense, right? Like you're trying to get like the most consistent play you can, and floor is good, ceiling is good too, right? So like, I guess I'm curious, how does your consistency model look at ceiling, or does it kind of just pay attention more to how much they meet?
No, it really pays attention to floor, because it's hard to predict ceiling.
Right.
We can predict floor because that's what their consistency model is showing, is floor. So, like Dallas Goddard, who was 89% consistent until he got hurt, that's got a very high floor that you can count on a weekly basis. If he has a big week, that's just a bonus, but you can get him in round 5 in a redraft league. Or maybe you can trade for him now while people not realize that, hey, this guy was really consistent last year. And they were like, oh, well, he was hurt, blah, blah, blah. I'm writing him off. I don't care. But he might be a guy you could trade for, add to your team, that might help you for a year or two with Jalen Hurts there, because he definitely had a great camaraderie with Goddard in that system.
No, I love it. And then obviously with Dynasty, it's always a long game. I guess in your knowledge and maybe the last question we'll get into about this, in your knowledge in this model of the consistency model that you've got, are there players that stand out that have been consistently? You know what I mean? Like, is there players that are like consistent every year?
There certainly are. Keenan Allen has always been that guy. Yeah. Like every year, he's not going to set the world on fire, but man, you want to talk about a guy that can lock in 10 to 15 points a week, every week, and be that man for you. He's that man. Now, he's also 31 years old. Can he be that man this year, or is he done? Tough call, but he's one of those guys that maybe you can get as your wide receiver 3. That's a great value, for a guy that used to be a wide receiver 1. But people are like, oh, he's old, he's done. Maybe not. Got to remember this year we got Kellen Moore in Los Angeles for the Chargers. They're going to definitely throw the ball a lot more than they did in the past. They're going to be less run, more high-end offense. But Mike Williams, who's always been not as consistent, but still there. Again, this could be a guy that could break out this year with the long ball scenario that Kellen Moore likes to bring to that offense. And we know Justin Herbert can be that guy. Last year was a terrible year for him just because of health. He played through some terrible rib injuries, but he was there every week. He wasn't consistent last year. Let's remember 2 years ago, he was 3rd in total points and 3rd in consistency amongst all quarterbacks. Here's a guy you can get in the 5th round, 6th round in a redraft league. If you want to pass on the big 4, perfectly fine with that. Grab Justin Herbert in round 5. You'll be happy you did.
That's good advice too. And I think with Dynasty too, it's like you can look at some of these as like trade targets, right? You can say, okay, well, maybe this is the guy I should go get. Keenan Allen, of course, in Dynasty is not going to be that expensive too. Right. So if you need a receiver and are looking to go all in, he might be somebody you can target. That's very helpful.
He could be a great throw-in. Like, hey, trade me this guy for that guy. Throw in Keenan Allen. He's 30 years old. Nobody wants him. I'll take him for this year. Especially if you're that one of those. I mean, you know me. You see me playing these leagues. I'm all about. I want to win every year, so I'm all in for this year versus the long term. So
I love it.
I'm going to trade. I'm going to trade my picks away. Give me guys I think I can win with this year. I'm going for the title. Doesn't work, fine, and I'll do it again next year.
Heck yeah!
It's a different approach.
That's the way to do it, man. That's the way to do it. It's so much more fun to kind of win that title and to try to every year. You know what I mean? Don't give up too much, but just
I'm not going to win 3 years in a row, but if I can win like every 3rd year, that's still a victory.
I'm with you 100%. Well, all right. So let's get into some Expo talk. I did have a couple of questions I wanted to run by you. Again,
Sure.
I don't want to keep you too long from the party.
No, I'm fine, man. We're good.
I'm jealous and at the same time, like, so excited to get there tomorrow. But
I gotcha.
I only had a couple of them. You mentioned Dez before. I wanted to talk a little bit about this in case anyone listening or watching. I mean, obviously, Dez Bryant has been out of the league for a little while, but he's still very talented and more talented than almost anyone else playing in that flag football tournament. But is Dez doing anything else? Is he going to be at the Expo? Is he signing autographs? I know. I think he's doing a booth or not a booth, maybe. But
yeah.
What else is he doing this weekend?
Yeah, so Dez will be in Saturday morning. He'll be there for the flag football for sure. He'll definitely be at the Saturday night party that we're having at the stadium. And then, of course, he'll be there all day Sunday. So Sunday at noon, he will be presenting on behalf of his company his new fantasy game called High Point, which is a NFT fantasy football game. So you definitely want to be here for that. So, yeah, he's super jacked. If you follow his Twitter or his Instagram, dude, he was showing videos today of him training and doing steps and all these crazy things. I'm like, you people are all in trouble for playing this in flag football, man. I don't want to be anywhere near that scenario. I'm just excited to watch them just devour these people.
Oh, man, me too. So, I'll be honest, though. Part of me is a little jealous that I'm not going to get my ankles broken by Mr. Dez Bryant.
I don't want my ankles broken. I just want to videotape it so I can watch.
No, that's a good point. I am excited to watch. That's going to be it's always a fun event, but it's going to be more fun, I think, with Dez on the field and kind of him going nuts on people. It's just going to be so much fun.
Should be fun.
Do you know, is he doing autographs? I know some people are asking.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things like, hey, if you walk up to him and hand him a jersey to sign, I assume he will. I'm going to say, probably, but I'm not going to guarantee anything. I'm going to speak for him. Yeah. But he's so excited to be a part of this community this weekend. I can't believe he wouldn't.
Right.
Bring
That's
it.
Kind of where I'm at. Yeah.
Bring it to the parties. Bring it to the expo. He's going to have they have their own booth. I assume he will. I'm not going to guarantee anything. It's not my job to do that. Right. But I feel like, he's pretty excited to be a part of this community. I'd be hard pressed to believe that he wouldn't.
No, I'm with you too. And I think the other question in relation, I guess, to that was there is potential for some weather, and you might know better than I. You live there and you're there now. What do you think the weather is looking to be for this weekend? Is there going to be any rain? I know that was kind of in the forecast earlier this week.
So right now, as of this afternoon when I looked, Friday is going to be beautiful. Sunday is going to be beautiful. Saturday, they're calling for some severe thunderstorms in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it all blows through. Our party doesn't start till 7. Luckily, this year, I was smart, and I moved the flag football into the dome.
Oh, nice.
So we wouldn't have to play outside. So if the rains come, the storms come, they'll blow through. Everything will be gone by 7 o'clock for the party in the end zone at the stadium. So right now it looks good. Let's pray that the good Lord just keeps it right there.
Well, I'm just glad that the football's inside at least. I know. I thought I saw that on the thing. I just wanted to clarify because I know.
And I know a lot of people were very disappointed because they wanted to play on the field that they had the Hall of Fame game there last week, which we did last year. But I always said, you don't know Ohio weather.
Yeah.
It's very unpredictable. As much as I want to play on the big field, I'd rather be inside and know that, hey, there's a very good chance. And here's the other thing. Saturday is supposed to be like 88 degrees.
Yeah.
Super humid because that's where the storms are going to come from. Yep. So my thought is that I always said, hey, if we have that kind of weather, do we want to be playing outside in 88 degrees? I don't. Not that I would anyway.
Yeah,
but
I'm fine watching
let's go inside. Let's go in the dome. It's air conditioned. It's perfect. It's protected. We should be good. So I think we're good. As of right now, everything looks like we'll be fine for the whole weekend. For the events, we're outdoors. Friday's perfect, like 10% chance of rain, nothing serious. Sunday's supposed to be great. We're going to be inside the dome all day anyway. Saturday, so far, looks like outside of the major thunderstorm in the afternoons, we should be good.
All right. Well, and with that, I guess, too, I was curious. I think I have my answer, but I'm curious. What is the one event this weekend that you're looking forward to the most? I know there's so many fun things going on, and it may be hard to pick your favorite child, but I'm just curious, which one is like standing out as your most excited?
Well, I don't know how anybody cannot say that watching Des Bryant in a flag football tournament isn't what we all want to see. I mean, somebody asked me if they had to pay to get in, and I said no, and I'm like, damn, maybe I should charge for this. But no, it's fine. Again, I'm so excited. I mean, I feel like this will be the most attracted flag football tournament in the world right now. That everybody's going to come and want to see him play. I want to see him play. I think it's going to be fantastic. You know, I mean, the people that are playing with him are all people from his team. But I'm not going to lie. Like a month and a half ago, we had a Zoom call, me, Des, and his business partner. And I said to Des, I go, Des, so are you going to create a team? And he said, well, do you care if I bring some friends? And I go, what do you mean by friends? He goes, well, I thought about reaching out to T.O. and maybe Ocho Cinco. And I'm like, wait a minute, dude, if you bring those people, this is a national treasure at this point, man.
News, yeah.
But
oh my gosh,
as of this point, it doesn't appear he's bringing those people. This is Des Bryant. We don't know. Yeah. Show up. Tony Romo may walk out into the field. I have no idea because this is Des, and Des is kind of like unpredictable, right? So we'll see what happens. Maybe it's just common people throwing to Des, but I could throw it to Des. You throw it high, and his 6'4" body is going to bring it down, right?
Yeah.
So I'm excited that, I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's going to be the most exciting event of the weekend. I'm really looking forward to Expo Day because we have so many people. We're inside this dome, which I told you before. When you walk in, you're going to go, whoa, this is big. I mean, we have 50 trade show booths. We have a main stage with 300 chairs for people to watch, and we still haven't touched the football field that's in the middle of it.
Oh, that's going to be great. And I guess maybe it was sort of a leading question because I knew you were going to answer that. But, I mean, what else other than the flag football are you looking forward to? Obviously, the Expo on Sunday is going to be great. Yeah. But, I mean, like, just in general, the parties are going to be great. All of it's going to be great. But, I mean, is there anything specific that stands out to you? I mean, Queen's Classic, I think, is going to be great, too. Like, draft night.
You know, so, like, this year, we have expanded the King's Classic event into 7 leagues now. We started year 1 with 2. We're now at 7 leagues. We have a Dynasty league. We have an IDP league. We have of course, the college fantasy football that John Lobb has put together. But this year we have the first ever Queen's Classic with 14 of the top females in the country. We're talking Britt Flynn from Fantasy Alarm, Lauren Carpenter from FTN, Lisa Ann, from the Fantasy Better Sports Network.
Yes.
Trying to think of that. Kendall Valenzuela from Fantasy Life. There are so many smart females that are coming to be in this draft. We are so excited for that. They're excited about being a part of this. We want this to be a major part of this event. We want females to realize that, hey, if you play fantasy football, you should come in and check these out because these ladies are just as smart as you, me, or anybody else here.
Smarter,
if not smarter, probably. Don't look at the sex and go, oh, well, they're females. No, I wouldn't want to play in that league.
That's gonna be brutal.
I don't want to play in that league. I want to play. I'm going to play in the regular Kings Classic. And so this is just part of the continued growth and, really making this into a community event where there is nobody that we feel is like, okay, you shouldn't be here. Oh, you're female, you shouldn't be here. Oh, this community has no problems with diversity. We want every person from every race, from every sex, we don't want people to go, well, I'm not going to come because I'm this person or I
don't create content. No, you don't.
I don't create content or I don't do this. No, this is for all of us. We're all fantasy football nerds, geeks, whatever you want to call us. We don't care because we have a community that supports each other, cares about each other, and wants everybody to be here. So don't feel like, oh, well, I shouldn't come because of. No, you should be here. If you play fantasy football, we will accept you. We will love you. We will hug on you. We will care about you because this community is that way. There is no, oh, you don't belong. Nope. Not in this community, people.
You
That's not
mentioned
how this
hugging,
works.
and we got our pod daddy Russ Fisher, Dynasty Outhouse, is very much a hugger. I think he's on his
Yeah.
way, if not already there. And I know I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to getting a hug from him too. Obviously, though, when people are listening to this, they're going to be most likely already there and have had a good time or
Right.
excited about maybe coming next year. So, with that in mind, the last question I had for you is what do people have to look forward to next year? Like, what is your brain building up for next year? What are you thinking? Where do you get bigger than this? Right?
So set your schedules for next year, August 9th through the 11th,
Okay.
right here, Canton, Ohio. Block it out now. But here's some fun things. Hey, all you folks out there that have a family, hey, I've got a wife and kids, or hey, maybe the wife and the husband both play fantasy football. I can't leave them. I don't want to come to town. Hey, guess what? Fantasy football, the Hall of Fame Village is building an indoor water park.
Yeah.
Indoor water park. Guess what? You can come drop your family off at the water park. They can spend all day Sunday in the water park. You can come over to the expo. It's going to be perfect. So
Yeah.
don't, again, we're trying to make this more family friendly. We don't want you to go, well, I can't come because of I'm married. I have kids. I have this. I have that. No. Come in. Come in, enjoy the time, enjoy the water park, they have a Ferris wheel, they have zip lines right on the campus.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Like
that's right.
it's a freaking amusement park. And with the water park next year, it's basically like coming to, Disney World for football. You can
in
tour the Hall of
nowhere,
Fame.
Ohio. It's beautiful.
In the
Yeah.
middle of Canton, Ohio. It's very inexpensive. Everything is 10 minutes away. This is not New York. This is not Vegas. This is Canton, Ohio. This is Midwest USA, folks.
Yep.
Come here, enjoy the time, the camaraderie, the community. It's really a good time. If you can't come this year, I get it. It's happening quick.
Yeah.
Come next year. Block your schedule, August 9th through the 11th, and come enjoy this fantasy community that we all know and love.
Well, and I know a lot of people are going to be putting out a bunch of content and kind of preparing and things like that. I know that there's going to be a couple of different live podcasts, I think, even on Sunday. I think Dynasty Trades in 5, I think, is doing a live show along with a couple of others.
Mhm.
So I'm sure you'll see. If you're not going to the expo, feel free to still obviously follow along on Twitter. There'll be people posting pictures, Instagram, all that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very excited. Like I said, excited to see it tomorrow and excited to get in there and just kind of hang out with all of these people I met on the internet, which was, 20 years ago was a terrifying thing. And now it's exactly what I want to do in August.
Right.
But again, thank you so much, Bob. I really appreciate your time. And obviously you're at Bob_Lung on Twitter.
Bob_Lung. And then also, if you want to follow the Twitter Expo, which will be all the pictures and videos, it's at the FF Expo on Twitter. Follow that. You'll see all the pictures, all the videos, great stuff. So many people will be posting. You don't want to miss out. If you can't make it, it's all good, man. Live vicariously through us for the weekend.
Yes.
Check it all out and then go, you know what? I'm going to be there next year. Super Bowl weekend, we'll announce, the weekend. We'll have the tickets available. It'll be great. You don't want to miss out. Be here next year. If you can't make it this year, we'll be here every year, the week after Hall of Fame. Next year, it's August 9th through 11th. Andrew, thank you for having me, brother. Always a great time. Can't wait to see you, man. We'll smoke some cigars tomorrow night.
Heck yeah, man. Ocho Cinco, those 85 cigars. So again, follow us at Dynasty Junkies. I'm Andrew Hall at Andrew Hall FF. Subscribe, rate, and review to the DAP Network. And with that, we're just going to call it Junkies out.